Hey boys and girls, this is Extending Understanding of Whole Number Multiplication, Lesson 613. In this lesson, you will learn how to use your understanding of whole number multiplication to multiply fractions by whole numbers. That's what we're going to be working on. So, here's your first problem. Draw a picture and write an equation to represent the following number story. There are 3 vases. Each vase has 4 flowers in it. How many flowers are there in all? Think about that, pause the video, and when you are all set with your best drawing and equation, come on back. Okay, so here's a lovely drawing for you. You can tell that wasn't done by me. Mine, you wouldn't be able to tell they were flowers, would you? Maybe not even vases, but here we go. So there are 3 vases. Each has 4 flowers in it. How many flowers are there in all? So you can see the equation that I could be doing. I could say 3 times 4, so 3 vases, times 4 flowers equals 12. That could also be represented as 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. These are equivalent. They're both 3 groups of 4 flowers. So that's what we're representing with this, right? Okay, so here's another question. So cut flowers will stay fresh longer if 1/4 of a cup of baking soda is added to a vase full of water. If a florist has 3 vases of flowers, how much soda is needed to keep them fresh? Think about that. Draw it out for yourself to help yourself solve it. When you think you have it, come on back. Okay, so there we've got a drawing that's showing 1/4 of a cup of soda in each one of the vases, or with the fraction circles, 1/4, a 1/4, and a 1/4, and a 1/4 of a cup of each. I could picture it like this. So I'm doing 3 groups of 1/4, which would be the same as doing 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4, right? Hopefully you got that same. Are you noticing how I'm using a fraction, but I'm doing the same kind of work I was doing when I was using whole numbers? I hope so. So here comes another. So a florist has 5 bunches of daisies. She wants to dye green for St. Patrick's Day. For a few hours, the stems of each bunch need to sit in a mix of 1 cup of warm water and 3/8 teaspoon of food coloring. So 2 questions. How many cups of water does the florist need in all? And how many teaspoons of food coloring does the florist need in all? Draw a picture, use fraction circles to help you. When you think you have that, come on back. Okay, so you can see in the drawing there that there's a bunch of flowers in each of those vases, and there's a cup of water in each, and 3/8 teaspoon of dye or color in each. So I could represent the problem with words by saying there's 5 groups of 1 for the water and 5 groups of 3/8 for the dye. That makes sense, right? I could write addition equations to go with it. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 5. 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8 equals 15/8, or 1 7/8, right? If 15 minus 8/8 would leave me with 7/8, and that would be a whole 1. The 8/8 is the whole 1. So that's how I decompose that improper fraction and make it into a mixed number of 1 7/8. So therefore, if I can do that, just like I have been able to do with whole numbers, I could write a multiplication equation to represent it. 5 times 1 equals 5. And 5 times 3/8 equals 1 7/8. Makes sense? Hope so. So you're going to apply this same learning now in your math journal on page 224. That's what we're looking at right now. This is page 224. Let me go ahead and get this locked so I can write on it with you. Okay, so making lip balm. Lip balm protects your lips from chapping. Some of you know that very well. It can be made at home with help from an adult. The ingredients below are for one batch. A batch fills four small tubes. Okay? You need 4 teaspoons of beeswax, 2 teaspoons of shea butter, 3 teaspoons of almond oil, and 1/8 to 1 teaspoon of flavoring oil. Okay? So here's the information to get you set up. So, the questions. Let's unlock that so we can move it up a little bit. Questions are this. So we're going to solve. We're going to use drawings, words, and equations to represent the problems. And let's see what it says. Yasmin made 2 batches of lemon lip balm. How many teaspoons of almond oil did she use? So if she's making 2 batches, and what we saw up here was 1 batch, right? How many teaspoons of almond oil did she use? So almond oil, there's the information we need, right? So she needed 3 teaspoons for the 1 batch plus 3 teaspoons for the other batch. So that's 6 teaspoons that she would need. With words, I could say that's 2 groups of 3 teaspoons. For an addition equation, I could do 3 plus 3 equals 6 teaspoons. For the multiplication, I could say 2 times 3 equals 6 teaspoons. And I could draw that with, I won't even attempt to do teaspoons, I'll just do circles. You might be scared if you saw my other, right? Okay, so that's the basics of it. You're going to do several more problems this way. Well, I shouldn't say several. There's actually only 4 total on pages 224 and 225. So you're going to do the same kind of thing for the rest of 224 and 225. You can check out the Try This question if you'd like to give that a try, and then we will talk about these pages. Once you're done, you are going to come back and check your answers. Please correct your pages in pen, red pen preferably, so that I can take a look to see what I might want to give you some more help on when you come to the lesson. All right? So when you're done, come on back. Thanks. There's the first page, and there's the second. All right, have a good night. See you tomorrow at lesson.